Today we are going to start chapter 4 from first line, that is from the diary of Annie Frank. Okay? This chapter is about a little girl Annie who lived in the time when World War II took place. So at that moment she faced a critical scenario, and they were hiding somewhere with her 8 sisters and her father. They were hiding somewhere because there was a danger from the Nazis. They were killing people. So she was there when she was there living with the family. So that time she wrote a diary. Okay. So the diary she wrote all about her education, how did she got education, and how she faced that environment where no one was there to talk with. She didn't have any friend actually. So she wanted to have a friend. So there was now no one to talk to. So what she thought, she made the diary her friend, and the diary was given name. She talked with the diary. She wrote all her incidents, whatever happened, about her education, about all the environment in her house, whatever she faced, whatever she was dealing at that moment. So she wrote all of that. Okay, it was after her death only. She died after her death only. This diary was discovered, and then it became a history for the world. All her feelings came in front of the world. Okay, this is the chapter. Before we start with the chapter, let me tell you about diary. All of you are familiar with this word diary. We write diaries. Most of the people, most of the students, a number of times I have heard from you people that you keep on writing diary daily according to daily schedule. Okay. So why do we write diary? A number of things are there. So many points when we discuss about so many benefits there are. So you will feel like I should also start writing diary. Okay, let's talk about all those points so that you people make up your mind that okay, from today itself we are going to start writing the diary. The first point is it allow yourself to self-respect. Because see, when we respect ourselves, when we write any diary, so we write all the bad things, all the happy things, all the things happen with us, and always we try to appreciate ourselves. And naturally, when we appreciate, others will be appreciating us then only if we respect ourselves. So this is the most biggest point. Next is it relieves stress. When we write any diary, what happens? It relieves the stress from here. When the stress is there, we are overpowered, the bad moment is going on, any bad thing is happening, and we want to talk with someone, there is no one. So you write here, so this stress from here goes to that page, and it's recorded forever. It's a kind of therapy for bad days, whatever bad happens. We wrote down there, whatever happy things happen, we write down there. So after some days when we read out, it's a kind of therapy. We learn from that incident in our lives. Okay? And next point is record special events. We can record on the diary special events also, common months also. Whatever we feel like I want to remember it forever, we record here on the diary. And then it improves. It helps you in your academically also it helps. How? It improves your writing. When you write diary, because you are writing by heart. So at that moment you write beautifully, you beautify your diary, and that improves your writing. Boosts your memory. Naturally, when you're writing something on a page, something was there and you wrote on that page. So what happened? You have kept it in the long memory, and this this incident you remember always. Okay, will retain in your mind for always. It inspires you to be creative. Naturally, when we are writing happily in good mood, so we keep on writing so many good things that the creative mind is again becomes more creative after doing such things. Appreciate your success. Naturally, when I told you, it create a positive aura when we write any diary, because we think positively, more positively at the moment when we are writing. We console ourselves at the moment because we are the friend of ourselves. So these so many benefits are of writing the diary. You people should write it. Okay, now we come to again the chapter, Diary of Annie Frank. Here see how a small little girl who was fond of writing the diary, how she became even for the world, she became a history for the world. Okay, let's start with the chapter.
Okay, let's start with the chapter now from the Diary of Anne Frank. Let's first about the writer. We read about the writer. This is the original photograph of her, and this maybe she has wrote as a memory of her. With this photograph she has written, this is a photo I would wish myself to look all the times, and then I would maybe have a chance to come to Hollywood. So she maybe was very proud of herself that she wanted to remain like that throughout the time. Anne Frank, 10 October 1942, she posted this. And she, Annalise Marie Anne Frank, she lived from 12 June 1929 to 1945. She was a German born Jewish girl who wrote while in hiding with her family and 4 friends in Amsterdam during the German occupation of Netherlands in World War II. So this was the time of World War II, and because they were the Jewish people, so they were being killed by the people, by the persons there, by the people there in German. So they have to hide. She and with her family they have to hide, so as to save their lives. Her family had moved, they all were hiding somewhere, and because they were the German born Jewish who were hiding, so they were being maybe chased by the people to kill them. So this was the reason why they were hiding. So a born Jewish girl who wrote while in hiding with her family and 4 friends. In other 4 friends were also there with them in Amsterdam during the German occupation to Amsterdam after the Nazis gained power in Germany, but were trapped when Nazi occupation extended into the Netherlands. So here the Nazis were overpowering the people. They wanted to kill these Jewish people, so they have to hide themselves and they have to live for on a place that will be safe for them. So she with her father, with her family and other 4 members, so they were hiding themselves. As the persecutions against the Jewish population increased, the family went into hiding in July 1942 in hidden rooms in her father Otto Frank's. Otto Frank's was her father office building. It was the office building of her father where they were hiding so that no one comes to know about them. After 2 years in hiding, the group was betrayed and transported to concentration camp system where Annie died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen within days of her sister Margot Frank. Margot Frank was her sister, and she first her sister died, and then Annie also died. She because of the typhus. Typhus is a sort of disease which due to a bacteria with high fever the person dies. So she died because of that. And after the war ended, to find that her diary had been saved. So this was how her diary came into after her death. She died because of the typhus, and her father was the only survivor of the family. He was the only survivor who was left. Others, everyone almost were died because of one or other reason. When he returned to Amsterdam after the war ended, when war ended, he returned to his place. He got the diary which was still saved. It was somewhere kept in the house. So he convinced that it was a unique record. So father thought it was a unique record when he thought this diary. So he wanted to have the record of this to publish it. So he took action to have it published in English and under the name The Diary of a Young Girl. So the full diary of her was published into a book. The name was The Diary of a Young Girl, and this chapter which we are reading, it's a small excerpt from that diary itself. Okay, let's start with the chapter now. So now the diary was given to Anne Frank for her 13th birthday. So it was her father who brought the diary, and it was the 13th birthday she got this diary. Chronicles the events of her life from 12 June 1942. She started writing since 1942, and final entry was of on 1st August 1944. So it was eventually translated from original Dutch into many languages and became one of the world's most widely read book. Okay. So although it was original was Dutch language, her was a Dutch language, so it was written in that, but then after her death it was published. It was so favorite of the people, readers wanted to read it, almost a lot of the readers were there for the book, so it was published into different languages. There have also been several films, televisions, theatrical productions, even an opera based on the diary. So many, it became so famous that many serials, the dances, different operas were published on the base of that only. So described as the work of a mature and insightful mind, the diary provides an intimate examination of daily life under Nazi occupation, and Frank has become one of the most renowned discussed Holocaust victims. Okay, so because she has written at that time, which was a crucial time of the people, so whatever she noted down in her diary, it was liked by the people. People used to, the reader used to like to know her story, what happened at that moment during the Nazis times. So this is most renowned book ever read. Now next, then writing in a diary. Now the main thing start of the chapter, the main description here is: writing in a diary is a real strange experience for someone like me, not only because I have never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on neither I or anyone else will be interested in musings of a 13 years old girl who well, it does not matter. I feel like writing and have even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. So this is what she started when she started writing in her diary. What she wrote, that it was a strange experience of me when I got this diary and I started writing this diary, not only because I have never written anything before. She's saying I was fond of writing, but because it seems to me that later on neither I or nor anyone else will be interested in the musings. In the musings are in the thoughts. This is thoughts of a 13 years old schoolgirl. He's saying I started because I was never, I maybe she's saying I didn't want to give anything to tell anyone about my thoughts. So because I thought that the thoughts of a 13 years old schoolgirl, no one will be interested to know about that. So I thought that to feel like that I should write, so that I express my thoughts there. I kind of things off my chest, because so that I can express something that was happening with me, and I wanted to reveal my heart to this diary. I wanted to speak to someone, so I chose this diary, she's saying, and I started writing there. So this is the first thing she wrote in her diary, started writing. Paper has more patience than, why now she's telling the reason that why she started writing the diary. Actually, paper has more patience than people. But what is her reasoning, the logic behind? She's saying paper because people don't want to listen you all the times. But paper never complains. It is always ready. It has patience to listen to the people. I thought of this saying one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed. She's saying when I was very depressed because it was a bad time, crucial time going on at the time, and I was alone and I felt lonely at the moment, sad at the moment, and was sitting at home with my chin in my hands. She's saying when I was sitting in my home, feeling bored, listless, what to do, wondering whether to stay in or go out, what to do, whether should I go out and play and get a friend, or should I stay inside. So I was puzzled, I was bored. So that moment I thought that I should start writing a diary. I finally stayed where I was, brooding, thinking something deeply. Okay, imagining engaging ourselves in our thoughts. So what she's saying then I thought, and after a lot of thinking I thought that finally I should stay inside the home, and paper should be used to relieve my stress. A paper does have more patience, since I am not planning to anyone else read this stiff bagged notebook grandly referred to as diary, grandly referred to, because she's saying I'm very proud of my diary and I don't want anyone to read it and to know my talks with what I talk with my diary, unless I should ever find a real friend. Till I find actual real friend who would be able to understand me, till then I will not reveal this about this diary and about me. It probably won't make a bit of difference. Now I am back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in first place. I don't have a friend. So this is the reason she's saying why I started writing, because I don't have a friend. So I thought that I should till I get a good friend. So till then I will be writing all, express my feelings in the diary itself. And after that, let me put it more clearly, since no one will believe. Just a moment, this is here is a printing mistake, please avoid this. Let me put it more clearly, since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world, And now she's saying no one will believe this thing that a 13-year-old child, she's completely alone, because 13-year-old child may be having a family, maybe having friends, maybe having someone to talk. So no one will believe that I was so alone, so sad at that moment. And I am not, she's saying, I'm not alone actually. I have loving parents also. I have a 16 years old sister also, and there are about 30 people I can call friends also. So I have a family, loving aunts, and a good home. No one on the surface I seem to have everything except on my one true friend. So what she said, I'm having everything, I'm blessed with a family, with sister, with aunts, with relatives, everything. But only true, only one thing which is lacking in my life is a true friend. So she's talking about a friend she wanted in her life, and for that friend, what she thought, that she should start writing a diary. Now, all I think about when I am with the friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything, but ordinary everything, anything. We don't seem to be able to get closer. That's the problem. She's saying, although the problem is that there are many friends have been there. I have good time with my friends, but I feel like I can't share. I can't express my feelings to themselves. Maybe it's my fault, she's saying, maybe I was wrong. We do not confide each other, because I don't have such belief in my friends that I can't reveal my feelings, my heart's feelings. So maybe she was introvert kind of child. Okay, so introvert, when we are not able to introvert, when we are not able to someone to express our feelings to someone, we want to keep all the things to ourselves only. So that time we feel like that we don't want to talk with others, we want to have something so close with us that we reveal our feelings. So this was her feeling. She's saying, although I was having the friends, but I don't feel like confiding, believing in them so blindly that I tell everything. So in that case, just how things are, and unfortunately they are not liable to change. So that's why I've started writing the diary. So this is say what she's saying, that all the times we can confine in the friends also, and I don't have such, I don't believe that there is any such person, any such friend of me till now I have met that I reveal my heart. So I thought that I will be starting writing a diary. So then, to enhance the image of this long awaited friend, so now long awaited, till now she was waiting for a friend to come, but here her wait was over, and a long awaited friend in my imagination don't want to jot down the facts in the diary the way most people would do. Jot down is write down. So what she's saying, now this most awaited moment is over. Now I got a friend, and that friend is my diary, and I don't want to write the diary like the way most people write. How do they write? They introduce themselves, they tell about their family, and they wrote all the things. But she's saying, but I want the diary to be my friend. But because this diary is not just diary, I want this diary to be my friend. So I'm going to call this friend Kitty. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in it. Plunge is coming right to that. So he's saying, if Kitty is my friend, and if I do not introduce myself to her, then she will not be able to understand maybe in that way what I want. So it's better I would provide a brief sketch. Brief sketch is introduction of my life, as much as I dislike. She's saying, although I don't like introduce myself to anyone, to any of my friends, but because there is no option, my diary does not know about anything to me, so I want my close friend to know everything about me. That's why I'm giving my introduction first. Now she tells about the family. Now she's telling about her family first. My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen. She loved her father too much. So according to her, he was the most adorable, most lovable father of the world. Did not marry my mother until he was 36, and she was 25. So here what mother, she's talking about her parents, that her father was, at the time of the marriage, her father was 36, mother was of 25 years old. And my sister Margot, she was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. And after 3 years, she's saying, I was born on 1929 and I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. So till she was 4 years old, they were living in Frankfurt. And then my father immigrated. Immigrated is when someone leave their own country and they settle in another country. So she's saying my father settled in another country, where in Holland. In 1933 they settled in Holland, from Germany to Holland. So my mother, this is the mother also, mother's reference she is giving, Edith Hollander. She also went with him to Holland in September. So mother, father, and both the girls, they accompanied their father when he was transferred, or when they immigrated to Holland. So while Margot and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. So maybe Aachen is a city in Germany itself, because maybe the reason was some problem may have been there, that for some time they were sent to live with the grandmother for some time because of any reason. So Margot went to Holland in December. So Margot went to Holland, she went in Holland, and I followed in February. So she later on went there. So when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. So when she was born, and she was living with her family. So she was, when she was born, so she was introduced this way to her sister, that this is your birthday gift, so take it. So this way she was introduced with the sister. I started right away in the Montessori nursery school. So now this is the beginning of her life. She is telling that first I went to Montessori nursery school. I stayed there until she was 6 years old. She was in Montessori schools. Our education started from there. At which time I started in the first form. First form is class 1. Class first, when she was in the 6th, when she came in 6th class, my teacher was Mrs. Cooperus, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears and we said a heartbreaking farewell. Now, when she was very small, 6 years old child, and after that she was in 6th class, till then she was a grown-up class and grown-up girl, and she could understand. She had all the emotions and affections from the people with whom she was living. So when she was leaving the school, maybe the headmistress Cupress, and when she was leaving, so they were having a heartbreaking farewell, because Mrs. Cupress, she was also fond of this girl, and the girl was also fond of the her mistress, headmistress. So she doesn't maybe wanted to be a part of her. Now in the summer of 1941, grandma fell ill, and now because grandmother, she fell ill, so till now she was living with the grandmother and had to have an operation. So my birthday passed with a little celebration. So because she was living with grandmother and she became ill, she could not take care properly now of the girls. Now her birthday, with the little celebrations, it was done, not at a grand scale. Then grandma died, and what happened now? Another shock came in her life. Then grandmother died 1942. No one knows how often I think of her, still love her. She loves her mother very much, grandmother very much. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and grandma's candle was lit along the wrist. So her birthday, because she died, and so before that, when birthday was celebrated, grandmother was with them, and they all were happy with those things. But now when grandmother is gone, so change has started coming in her life. 4 of us are still doing well, and that brings me to present date 1942 and solemn dedication of my diary. Now she's saying grandmother was gone, and still we people are there. My family is there, my parents are there, my sister is there. So now I am very dedicated to my diary. I have started writing this diary. I'm living with my dear friend. So this is, now she's wrote her in the diary her introduction, and now she is telling her one of the experience in her class when she was studying. Dearest Kitty. Kitty is her diary. So now she is talking with her friend. As a friend, she is writing in the diary, dearest Kitty, our entire class is quacking in its boots. So now she is sharing one of her experience. Now quacking in boots is shaking with fear. What was the reason of the fear? Something happened in her class and all were in fear. All were in fear, so there maybe something was going to happen. The reason of the course is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide. Forthcoming meeting in which the teacher decide who will move up to the next form, next class, and who will be kept back. So what was the reason of their fear? All the class was that who will pass and who will fail. So they were worried about that. So who will be passing and who will be failing, so we were worried about that. So that's why the students were waiting for their result. Half of the class making bets. So many children, they were worried because they wanted to know whether they will be failing or passing. So they were making bet over that. Gian and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys. Gian is her friend. Okay, her friend, name of her friend. And I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys. They were laughing over the two boys, were nervous all the times, and they used to sit behind them. Cn and Jacques. Cn, this another one boys is Cn, one is Jacques. They used to sit behind them, and who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. So now what these staked here is put on the risk. Now these two boys, what they were doing, they were betting that one will be passing or he will be passing or another will be failing. They were have a bet over that. So entire amount during holiday what they saved, they were spending on the bet, and this was a reason of fun for these girls. They were laughing over this thing. From morning to night, it's you are going to pass. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even G is pleading. Now these both boys, what they were worrying, they were betting that you are going to pass and I am going to fail. So they are talking about like that. No, I am not. So both are betting. No, I will be passing and you will be failing, like that. They are betting with each other. Even G is pleading. Pleading is request. G is pleading glances and my angry outbursts. Outbursts because these girls were laughing too much. So laughing over their bets, their talks. So they can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. Now what she's saying, now this girl, they used to both the girls, both the friend, her friend, and she used to laugh over those boys who were betting. So when they were according to Anne, what she thought, that I think that there are the dummies. Dummies are the weak class. In my class there are the weak children, so many weak children, about a quarter, 1/4 class is there who are the weak people, and they should be kept back. They should be. So this way they were betting from each other. From morning to night, it's you are going to pass. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even G's pleading glances and my angry outbursts cannot calm them down. She's saying, although we used to laugh over them, and my friend also, she was requesting them not to speak like that. We were laughing over them, but still they could not keep silence. They keep on speaking like that. They keep on betting. If you ask me, there are so many dummies. About dummies, she says that there are so many weak weak students in my class. They are about one quarter, about 1/4. She's saying, or even 1/4 student of our class are so dummies that they are not to be passed, and they should be. So many people are there who should be not passing. They should be failed in the class. So this way she is talking about her class. Now, but teachers are most unpredictable creatures. Now what she thought, now she's saying that because teachers are unpredictable, unbelievable creatures on the earth. Saying because teachers, we can't say anything about the teachers. They can do anything. They can whatever they think, they can. Unbelievable things can be done by them at any time, because they think on their own. What they feel like, they will be doing. So she's saying, I don't want to say anything to them, because there was nothing surety about anyone, what the teachers will be doing. So I'm not so worried about my friend, my girlfriends. She's talking about her friends, and myself. We will make it the only subject I'm not sure about maths. She's saying, I was not confused about myself, because I was good in all the subjects except maths. except maths. I was weak at that. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then we keep telling each other not to lose heart, and I get not to lose heart, and I get along pretty well with my all teachers, that are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Kissing, the old foggy who teaches maths, was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. Now she's saying, although she's saying I was not good in maths. So anyway, we can do wait. She's saying, so it was better that we should have waited. So until then we keep telling each other not to lose heart. So I get along pretty well about all with my teachers. So she had a good rapport with her teachers. Liked maybe this girl. There were 9 teachers in her school, in her of a class, of whom 7 were men and 2 were women, and one was Mr. Kissing, the foggy here refer to old fashioned man who teaches maths, who was maths teacher, and because she was weak in maths, so she was annoyed. He was angry with Annie, with Anne, for ages because I talked so much. Why he was angry with the girl? Because she was too talkative. Okay, too talkative girl she was, so he did not like the way she all the time she used to talk. So he wanted her to keep silence, but she never listened to her. So this was the reason this maths teacher he doesn't like. So after several warnings, he assigned me extra work, an essay on subject, a chatterbox, because teacher wanted to teach her a lesson, that he wanted her to not to speak so much in the class, so he wanted to make her busy. So what he did, he gave a number of warnings, she did not listen. So what he did, he gave extra homework. Extra homework was to write an essay on the subject chatterbox. Chatterbox, the person who talks much. So this topic, it was her habit, and the same topic was given to her that you write on that. So maybe the teacher here felt that this girl may be then feeling later on when she will be writing the essay that she talks too much, all are angry because of the reason, and she just stopped talking. So because of that purpose, he gave this essay to her. What can you write about that? I would worry about that later, I decided. So the girl was worried that what should I write in the letter. Then she thought that later I will decide what to do. I jotted down the title in my book. Wrote the title in my notebook. She is saying I noted the title that I will be writing, and I will later on think whether to write anything or not. Then tucked it, kept it in bag, and tried to keep quiet. At that moment I thought I should remain quiet, and then I wrote the title and left the class. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, a note about the essay caught my eyes. Now she forgot after that, but when she was doing her homework, then she noted down that there was essay was to be written. She remembered that. I began thinking about the subject while chewing up the tip of the fountain pen. She thought a lot. She was having a pen in her hand and she was thinking what to write now. Anyone could ramble on and leave. Then that evening she was then planning now what to write. When she was thinking now what to write, she was thought that I would be writing such a letter, an essay, that it would be having convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. Now she was thinking a lot what to do, and when she thought that anyone could have written just simple essay at that moment, and would have left in space in between the words so as to quickly finish that. But because I wanted to write such an essay, that I wanted to convince my teacher with my arguments, with my logic, that necessity of talking, that talking is also necessary. So I thought and suddenly I had an idea. So she is saying I thought a lot and then I have an idea, that I wrote the 3 pages. She wrote at least 3 pages. Mr. Kissing had assigned me, was satisfied, and when Mr. Kissing, he saw her essay, he was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait. Trait is a quality. She's argued in her essay that talking is a student characteristics. So how can you stop that? And that I would do my best to keep under control. She's saying I always try to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself to the habit, since my mother talked as much as I did not. As I did, if not more, then there is not much you can do it about inherited traits. Inherited traits are qualities. Qualities, inherited qualities are which come by birth. So what the girl is, how she is arguing over the talk, how she wanted to convince the teacher that she is saying that not only I talk, I can't cure, she is saying myself, because the habit she has got from her mother. Mother was as talkative as she is, and because this is inherited habit, by birth it has come in him. So how she can stop about that? So this was the reason she is giving her letter. Okay, now this, then what happened? Mr. Kissing had a good laugh at the argument. So teacher also laughed over her arguments. But when I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, I assigned me a second essay. This time it was supposed to be an incorrigible chatterbox. Incorrigible is unbelievable, something which cannot be corrected, especially the bad qualities. Okay, so she's talking now. Teacher was not, although he was satisfied, but because she did not stop talking, so he assigned another second essay was given to her, and topic was incorrigible chatterbox, who is such a chatterbox, such a talkative person who cannot be corrected. So such topic was given. I handed it, and Mr. Kissing had nothing to complain about 2 whole lessons. For 2 whole lessons. So she wrote on that topic also, and Mr. Kissing had nothing to say about this because she has written her work. So he could not say anything to the girl. However, during the 3rd lesson, he would finally had enough. So now 3rd lesson, this is the 3rd essay now is given to her as a punishment. And Frank, as punishment for talking in the class, write an essay entitled "Quack Quack Said Mistress Chatterbox." Now it was a funny title given to her, that now okay, you quack. Quack is the sound created by the bird. So now he's saying that you write about a quack quack quack, and said mistress chatterbox speaks like that, and this is the topic you have to write over this topic. Now you start. Now it was again a challenge for her. Now such a topic was, because she was writing continuously on chatting in 2 of her essays, and this was the 3rd essay given to her, and now she was puzzled. Now what should she write, how much she should write? But she did not give up. The class roared, the class was shouting, laughing, and everyone was enjoying on her condition. I too laughed too, though I would nearly exhausted. She's saying, though I was tired, my ingenuity on the topic chatterbox. Ingenuity is the real way of originality. She's saying, because I have so many ideas I have taken till now in other 2 essays, that I lost all my ingenuity, all my originality till now on the topic chatterbox. Still, she is saying, I took it as a challenge. It was time to come up with something else, something original, my friend. Now she's saying, I wanted to do again something original. Now here her friend Sene, who he was very good at poetry, she offered a help to her, an essay to beginning to end in verse. Verse is a poem. Now her friend said that, okay, I will be helping you out. You write an essay and I will help you out to convert it into poetry form. So she jumped out of a joy, and Mr. Kissing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous with this funny subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. Now she was happy that Mr. Kissing was making fun of me by giving this funny subject again and again. Now I will make a joke on him and I will show him that what I can do. Now she wrote over a poem also on the same topic. I finished my poem. It was beautiful, and it was about a mother duck. So what was the topic she wrote? About a mother duck and father swan, who with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by father because they quacked too much. So now what topic was taken? She has taken the birds. Duck was taken, swan was taken, and father was, because he was very angry over the ducklings because they talked too much. So he bit over them. He bit them so sharp that they were died. So this was in poetry taken. Luckily, Mr. Kissing took the joke right way. Here, Mr. Kissing took something positive from her lesson. See, now he doesn't want to. Maybe he learned himself something from that essay. He read the poem to the class, adding to his own comments to several other classes as well. So he was taking to this comment. Maybe here he thought that something, that the girl was not wrong. Actually, if he tortured her so much, so this was the condition that she was thinking about the death of the baby ducklings. Okay, so this way maybe now he thought that he should stop this thing there only, and he changed his nature. And what he did, he read this poem in the class and even added his own comment over also that, and he maybe praised the girl there. And to several other classes he read this letter, and he was a changed man now. He forgot the enmity now, he forgot the things now that to give extra work now he did not give. He could understand the what was going on in the mind of the girl. Since then I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra work, she's saying. Since then Mr. Kissing, he became a changed personality and he stopped giving me extra work. Rather, I was allowed to talk a little bit. So on the contrary, Mr. Kissing's always making jokes these days. She's saying now change did not come in me, but change came in Mr. Kissing. Nowadays he has become a man who is a changed personality, who now makes fun in his teachings, who has added fun and ridiculous way of in a ridiculous, through ridiculous essays she taught even a lesson to that teacher itself, that it was not a fault of her. Maybe a habit of her was there, she was trying to control, but actually because she needed maybe attention, she needed some time to leave the habit. So this way maybe the teacher also understood her mentality there, that there should be some change in maybe in his teaching or maybe in his way of treating the girl. So he stopped asking her later, even changed his behavior, and he himself started the funny things in his teaching. He started funny ways of teaching, his started way. So that here this ending of this chapter, where Mr. Kissing is changed by this girl and Gregory, and she is explaining her change how she brought. Here it shows that this girl was very intelligent and she was logical as well, because she justified her habit. She justified, teacher emphasized over the habit of talking, but she justified that no, because this habit although was there, she was trying to correct it, but she justified her habit, that even that wrong habit also she tried to justify. And this way she brought a change in the relationship of the teacher and herself. Even both the ways, the both became relaxed after that moment. They both have a maybe a good bond in between them. Okay, this is the chapter, and now it is over.